you never ever wait for praise before. You're waiting for your name to be called. Your body's shaking with disbelief, 'cause you never ever wait for praise before.
testing 1 2. Center mic testing 1 2. Good morning. Evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. May I please have your attention? Thank you. We are going to start the proceedings in a minute. The program director is going to make her way to the stage. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Greetings to everyone. Let me start here. We have these two vehicles that are blocking the way. It's HFV 358 MP. It's IR 91 CGGP. The owners, please assist us. Okay, I need to do something here. All right, thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to greet everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Malibongwe. Gama lamakhosikazi. Malibongwe. Gama lamakhosikazi. Wathinta abafazi. Thank you very much. We are formally opening our event. I will now call on, let me first greet all the leadership that is here and greet everyone present. Before I mention them, I would want to call upon the acting executive mayor of Emalahleni to welcome us so that we are free, then we are able to greet everyone and observe the protocol. Thank you very much, Honorable Acting Executive Mayor. Can you clap hands for her? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC of Agriculture in Mpumalanga, and also Program Director. Let me take this opportunity and first introduce myself. I am Faith Msibi, the MMC responsible for finance here in Emalahleni local municipality. But today, also I think because it is still Women's Month, the Executive Mayor has given me the opportunity to shine and be the Executive Mayor of Emalahleni local municipality. Once again, Program Director, thank you for the opportunity. I was very disappointed when you say you are not going to observe protocol, because ordinarily you hide. You just say, let me observe protocol already established. But now you must go through it because it has not been established. We have so many dignitaries in this room, and sometimes, you know, you make a mistake of not speaking or greeting someone that is important. Maybe in your eyes they are not so, but in society in general, they are. Let me start with the Honorable Minister of Small Business Development, Honorable Stella Ndabeni, our first citizen in the province, Honorable Mandla Ndlovu. We also are visited by the MEC of Finance, Economic Development and Tourism from the Free State, Honorable Uketso Makume. Thank you. The Director General of the Department of Small Business and Development, Ms. Tulisile Manzini, the Chairperson of SEFTA Board, Ms. Nonzuzo Makanda, Chairperson of the SEDFA SETC, Ms. Xoliswa Dagu, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. This evening it is my distinct honor, and it is also my privilege, to welcome you into our cold, warm city of Emalahleni as we gather for the official launch of the Women's Fund program. Now, this is an initiative that represents not only a significant investment in the empowerment of women, but it is also a commitment to inclusive and sustainable economic development. Let me also, before I go any further in welcoming you to our warm city, express our sincere appreciation to the Minister of Small Business Development for choosing our city the second day in a row. Just yesterday, she was here donating tools of trade in our local municipality. Indeed, Your presence today, your continued dedication to small business is deeply appreciated and it is honored. So she makes a joke in the briefing area. The Premier appreciates her presence in Mpumalanga. And she says, "Yazi ngizenzile ngaqasha umuntu waseMpumalanga." Because seemingly I am always this side, but we truly do, on a much more serious note, appreciate the attention that is given in our province, even if we don't see you, but we do see the effort that is being directed to us. Now, this kind of dedication, this kind of consistency that you are giving towards our province, it speaks volumes, excuse me. This kind of dedication speaks volumes. You will forgive me. I am a very young person, but seemingly technology is working against me. This never happens. I always judge my mothers and my aunties, and today it is me. So I must tell them that, hey, do not feel bad. You are not the only ones that normally struggle with this. But as a city, we fully support the initiative that is coming. We also stand ready to partner with all the stakeholders that are present here to ensure its successful implementation. We believe that today will mark the beginning of a successful, actually the continuation of a successful chapter, a chapter that uplifts and enables and celebrates women entrepreneurs across our city of Emalahleni, our province of Mpumalanga, and our country, South Africa. With those few words, I once again welcome you to the warm city of Coal, and I thank you, Honorable Minister, and your department for continuing to bring programs of real impact, because there are programs, and then there are programs that we actually see making a difference. We thank you for being intentional about affecting, particularly in this case, women on the ground across the country. Thank you very much. May you all have a lovely evening.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Acting Executive Mayor. We can clap hands for her. Thank you for the warm welcome words. And let me take this opportunity formally so to greet the Honorable Minister, the Honorable Premier of Mpumalanga, the Honorable MEC of Free State. Let me greet the DG Manzini, the SEFTA board members, our clients and MSMEs in the room, members of media, ladies and gentlemen. Is Katie Wamweketi, I'm the MEC. Our DG, how can I forget you? How can I forget you, my DG? No, yeah, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Honorable Katie Wamweketi. I'm the MEC for Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land, and Environmental Affairs. So, yes. So, during the day when I introduced myself, I said I'm the MEC of Agriculture and zonke lezinto ezilandelayo. No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is a beautiful night. You are beautiful ladies. You are so beautiful. Nani, gentlemen, you are handsome. Thank you. We have our program here. Let us proceed with the next item, which is the purpose of the day and introduction of SEFTA Women's Desk. Let me call upon Ms. Nzuza. Thank you very much. Let us clap hands for her. Nonzuzo Makanda. Nonzuzo Makanda. You are welcome, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Program Director. Honorable Minister Ndabeni, the Honorable Premier, Mr. Mandla Ndlovu, yourself, Program Director, the MEC of Agriculture, and all of those that follow after that, Ms. Ketty Wamweketi, the MEC of Free State, Honorable Moses Makume, the Acting Executive Mayor, Councillor Faith Msibi, the DG of the province, Ms. Meki Skosana, our DG of our portfolio of the Department of Small Business Development, Ms. Tulisile Manzini, the DDGs present tonight accompanying the leadership of the department, the SETFA board members, Ms. Dagu and Ms. Zika, who are here present this evening, our acting CEO, Mr. Mbata, the executive management of SETFA, and the rest of the Setvians from Mpumalanga and who are joining online, or those who are watching in the rest of the country. And our MSME ecosystem and partners that are in the room. I can acknowledge the UNDP that is here with us, Ms. Olga, thank you. And the rest of the other partners that are in the room, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It is indeed my honor to be standing before you today, in this evening, in this historic occasion. I call it a historic occasion because it is a first of its kind in our portfolio, where we stand and we gather together in the name of women, and we're making it bold and loud and say that we as the portfolio, we are for the woman. So it gives me pleasure to be standing and be able to welcome you first. I know you've been welcomed, but from the SETFA way, welcoming you to this unveiling of the Women's Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, this fund is earmarked to bridge actually the gender finance gap. We all know that statistics shows us every day that women, especially those that are starting businesses at the early stage investing, they are struggling to access funding. The instruments that are available don't really assist them a greater deal, don't really address their needs. Then it makes it a very important decision for us. And we took this decision for us on the Women's Fund as a portfolio to make sure that we bridge this gender gap financing and we promote gender lens investing. Because the instruments that are there, they never had a woman in mind when they were put together. So now it is the time that we reflect, we go back, we circle back to ourselves, and then we see what it is that women truly need, what instruments that really speak and resonate with the needs of the woman. Statistics has showed us, I'm not gonna quote the gap, it's very visible. I mean, even in the other spaces, in terms of the sources of other finance, the venture capital space as well, only 2% of funding goes to women-owned businesses in the VC space, and that's a very small number. Not forgetting rather the DFIs, the banks. If you look into the number of investee companies and you dissect the data, you go deeper and you look into the gender component of it, you realize that women are not featured, and that's the challenge for us. Why are we gathered here today? We are gathered because we understand of the challenges that I've just mentioned of the gender gap financing. And these challenges not only are posing challenges that, oh, there's a problem, but they also paint a picture of a missed opportunity that we can all take advantage of and create solution to bridge the gender lens investing and making sure that there's a lot of women that are funded. In March 2025, Honorable Premier and Honorable Minister, SETFA launched a Women's Desk with the objective of prioritizing a female economy agenda, because that economy is growing and it's vibrant, it's very colorful, with women with amazing ideas, and some are already at the verge of commercialization. Then it requires us as the portfolio to really focus on how do we then put together solutions to bridge that gap. This happened 5 months after SETFA came into existence, just to show that as a portfolio, we're not apologetic and we're very intentional in bringing the gender gap financing. Honorable Premier, SETFA's mandate prioritizes inclusive funding. We have been funding women in all current programs. Our success stories include, but not limited to, VMT Petroleum, which needed capital to service the contract, Shoniflex, a skincare manufacturer that has scaled due to SETFA funding. Here in Mpumalanga, we supported Eden Resort, a 100% black woman-owned hospitality business, with close to a couple of millions that I don't want to mention, and through the Tourism Equity Fund, creating 10 sustainable jobs. As part of our broader mandate to foster sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystem, SETFA Mpumalanga has shown some traction in making sure that our interventions that are earmarked for women at the province has met the targets in making sure that women are supported from both non-financial and financial support. We are proud to announce that this event saw over 130 entrepreneurs engaged, 18 exhibitors and 118 pitch participants, and the event culminated in the prestigious Business Awards ceremony, recognizing 20 outstanding entrepreneurs with cash prizes. This is the event that took place with Hollywood Foundation, a flagship program that SETFA is coming together with the local to make sure that we bring the ecosystem closer to ourselves when we discharge our mandate. SETFA Mpumalanga remains resolute in its mission to create thriving, inclusive, and sustainable economy ecosystem driven by empowered entrepreneurs. The province, as we all know, is vibrant in mining opportunities, tourism, agriculture, and services remain dominant as the main economic drivers of the province, which then means the support that is provided to MSMEs must speak to those sectors and be able to support them to scale. SETFA still continues to support small businesses, even though there's a lot of demand and our purses are not big enough to actually penetrate through or touch every MSME that knocks on our door for funding, but we will get to you. Your time will come. If we haven't done anything in your space, we are coming. Today's gathering stems as the solution that we are here. We want to listen, we want to do better, we want to address all the challenges that we've been facing as a collective in the ecosystem, just to make sure that small businesses are supported. Honorable Minister, SETFA is therefore proud to be the implementing agency for the 300 million Women Entrepreneurship Fund, which you have announced during your budget vote. This is the fund that we are unveiling today, ladies and gentlemen, as a soft launch, because we're still going to communicate and engage. Minister will also be talking about that in her address. So, ladies and gentlemen, we remain committed in making sure as an implementing agency of the department, we do what we need to do. We cannot wait and waste time in the boardrooms, in our spaces. It's time to get our hands dirty and go to where the people are and start listening and start crafting programs and projects that speaks to their needs, instead of thinking that this is what they need without touching base with them and finding out what it is that they need. I'd like to assure you, Minister, that the entire SETFA is ready to unlock opportunities and ensure that no entrepreneur is left behind because of their gender, age, or their ability. And I believe that the ecosystem will also be playing a critical role, because we do not have a bottomless kitty. And we would like to partner with those who have big wallets so that we can increase the capital for this fund of 300 million and make sure that we either double it or quadruple it so that we impact as many women as we possibly can. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. Let us give her a round of applause. Thank you. Indeed, Chair, we are happy that this historic occasion is happening here in Mpumalanga. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Are you still happy to be here, ladies? Yes. Are you ready for the Honorable Minister? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Thank you. Before we call upon our Honorable Minister and other speakers, We're now going to be entertained by Miss Lungile Ndlovu, who is going to give us a beautiful item. Miss Lungile, you are welcome. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Igama lami nguLungile waKaNdlovu, but I go by the name and I hope you guys are going to enjoy the entertainment that we prepared for you. You know, mina ugogo wami ngangishayela yonke into. Ukhuluma naye, uyakushaya, wayamphendula. Uyathula, uyakushaya, usulelani ngoba ngikhuluma nawe. Ubheka le, wawungangibuki uma ngikhuluma nawe. Ubheka phansi, ubukani phansi ufunani. But we are the way we are because of the women who raised us. Ayashayela nabakhosikazi izandla, hayi bo. Engishaya ngivuse ekuseni kovivi ngiyambonga umama umama wami ngokushaya isokwenda ndane umama wami engishaya Chigitshela ngamatshe sabashaya ngamatshe komozi zobuya nini chigitshela ngamatshe sabashaya komozi zobuya chigitshela ngamatshe sabashaya ngamatshe inkomozi zobuya chigitshela ngamatshe sabashaya ngamatshe komozo ngamatshe 1956 August 9 kwa-Union Buildings they marched wahamba amakhosikazi they marched balwela amalungelo wami nawe we are because they were we are because they were 1956 bajikijela against the apartheid regime we are because they were we are because they were Bomoso sesibuye jikijela ngamatshe jikijela ngamatshe Noma ngingamemeza ma akusizi lutho noma ngingamemeza ma noma ngingamemeza ma noma ngingamemeza ma akusizi lutho noma ngingamemeza noma ngingamemeza mama noma ngingamemeza mama akusizi lutho akusizi lutho ngoba yimi nabo ngoba yimi nabo ngoba yimi nabo Nkosi yami noma ngingamemeza noma ngingamemeza mama noma ngingamemeza mama akusizi lutho akusizi lutho ngoba yimi nabo ngoba yimi nabo Nkosi yami. Thank you.
Wow, this is beautiful. Asimshayeleni izandla. We can do better than that. Hala, lasesi. Thank you. Thank you. What a beautiful item. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, we are joined by the acting DG of the Department of Labor, Miss J.K. Molisane. Where is? Oh, there is she, next to you, Minister. You are welcome, Ceci. Thank you. No, thank you. We are now taking our next item, which is a success story by someone who has benefited. We are saying, Minister, when we are doing our work, we want the footprint, we want the blueprint, we want to see, we want people to point at what we have done. So this is the young lady, Medi Makatso Kanyanene of Dialects, the winner of the Startup Business of the Year at the National Presidential MEs and Cooperative Awards in 2024. Let us welcome her. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dimakatso Kanyane. I'm from Siabuswa in the outskirts of Mpumalanga. I epitomize. Okay, I will reintroduce myself again. My name is Dimakatso Kanyane. I'm from Siabuswa in the outskirts of Mpumalanga, specifically Dr. J.S. Moroka. I epitomize a new generation of leaders in South Africa through a combination of resilience and passion. As an ambitious civil engineer, I have gained invaluable experience across several multinational companies, gaining invaluable experience. This experience has enabled me to fearlessly start my first company called Intloso Yake Works, where I was rendering consulting and construction services. I generated sufficient capital and ventured into importing sanitary towels from a Chinese-based manufacturer. The concept of delays came from growing up in Siabuswa. I saw firsthand the taboo surrounding menstruation. It might have been a mix of cultural and generational influences, but we were taught not to talk about our periods. I know most families think it's the most comfortable thing to do, but I wish more people saw how much barriers we place on normal bodily functions that contribute to period poverty. I feel lucky to invoke societal changes so we could all live with our basic needs met. Period poverty affects all communities, and I'm happy that I can make a positive change in mine. We believe that necessities like sanitary towels and menstrual education is a fundamental human right that empowers women to drive change. Too many young women in our country still lack access to these essential resources, hindering their ability to fully participate in society and realize their full potential. This is not just a matter of health and hygiene, it's a matter of human right and dignity. At DLETS, we are working towards a future where no woman or girl will be left behind and where every individual will live with equity, dignity, and full realization of their human right. Every woman deserves to be empowered, and every human right deserves to be protected. We used to operate in a one-room office space, and I remember we were still operating in our neighborhood. We used to keep our inventory in my parents' back room. Initially, we received funding from NYDA, which we utilized for packaging purposes, and furthermore, we received funding from the Office of the Premier, which we utilized to purchase an automated sanitary towel machine, which has the capacity and capability to produce 300 pieces of sanitary towels per minute. In a month, we have the capacity to produce 14,000 sanitary towels. My apologies, I just made a mistake. In an hour, we have the capacity to produce 14,000 sanitary towels. However, in an overall month, we have the capacity to produce over 3 million sanitary towels. However, the challenge is that we do not have access to market our products. Should we gain access to this market share, we'll be able to employ a minimum of 50,000 young people on a permanent basis. Since the inception of DLETS, we have employed 8 people to date from historically disadvantaged communities, majority of which are youth. We empower them with training and continue to develop their skills through various initiatives and training. Through my entrepreneurial journey, I have been awarded Startup Business of the Year at the National Presidential MSME Cooperative Award Ceremony, which brought together the best entrepreneurial ecosystem. We also got awarded first prize at the Mpumalanga Bambelela Business Award, bringing together the best entrepreneurial businesses in Mpumalanga. Furthermore, we were recognized by Mail and Guardian for our contribution in the health and wellness sector. I don't believe in luck. I'm here because I've worked so hard my whole life. If it wasn't for my hard work, no one in this room would know who I am, except for my family and my friends. I would like to express my deep gratitude and appreciation to NYDA, to SEDFA, Office of the Premier, and Department of Small Businesses for the support, the recognition, and making Dilets a resounding success it is. I'm honored and humble to have been considered for such a prestigious program. Thank you so much.
Hi, we can do better than that. Yo. No. Honorable Premier, I understand wherever you are, how do you feel now? I know this is part of our mandate and the priority in Mpumalanga and across the country. So I understand how the Honorable Premier feels now. I understand. Honorable Minister, we are happy. We are so proud. Yeah, we are so proud, Honorable Premier. You know, that is why we don't understand when we come across people who will say the government is not doing anything. We are always confused. Uguti, but what are they talking about? If there's such a beautiful young lady, thank you very much. Thank you. Now we are taking the next item, which will be a panel discussion on funding and market access opportunities for women-owned enterprises. And this panel discussion, it will be led by Umeoliswa Daku. Let us welcome her. Thank you. Imbogoto malibongwe. Thank you, ma'am.
Malbongwe. Ikamala Makoskaz. To our Honorable Minister, Mafagu, we are so grateful. We are asked by Intizoyam Yajabula when we are doing women's stuff. To Premier, to the MMCs that are with us and acting mayors, DDGs, away to DDG, hey, Sizalwa Ngwirane, Sistuli, and DG, Yambonian Korekisha Kolo, DG. Now, Kubo Bonga Bandu Bakhoyo phakathi kwethu. Thank you very much for this opportunity. As SIDFA, we're excited. Finally, we are aligning our activities with what the country wants to achieve. Today, we're here to confirm that IGYODI framework is part of the structures that we need to utilize to ensure that women in South Africa are empowered. Not only should we just see them earning the flowers that they have, but also to get more products and success and become captains of industries. For us to see the value of the 1956 women, we'll only see it when we see all of them being out there doing the same thing that Abo Griffith Mtlange and the rest have done. So we're so excited, Minister, today, because we understand that there's still more to be done. And that can only happen when we have our panelists coming to the fore, United Nations, UNDP. We've got our speakers here from the UNDP. We've got Axis Bank and as well as also NEF. Can they come forward before I introduce them? As they are coming, Minister, no Premier, today is not about complaining, but it's about moving from barriers to solutions. What are the areas that we need to focus on? As SIDFA has led from the front and has indicated that here is the fund. Our minister has announced it, and therefore we've asked them to come forward and say that, how do we ensure that we work together collaboratively? And I would ask them, without wasting time, to introduce themselves to the members that are here today. Without wasting time, let's start with NEF, Ms. Red.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. All protocol I observed. My name is Nkate Kombambo, a regional manager for the NEF in Mpumalanga.
good evening, everybody. I'm Zaida Manuel. I am from Access Bank. I look after two roles, head of customer value proposition, but officially also the head of retail banking for Access Bank. Thanks.
Good evening. I am Gloria Kiondo, Deputy Resident Representative from UNDP South Africa. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, panelists. I think we probably have to start with our sister or brother company, as I might put it, the National Empowerment Fund. As we know that you've got a lot of programs that you're already running for women empowerment. So can you indicate to us what are the critical elements that we need to take note of as you are establishing this environment, and how can we partner with you in making sure that it's a success?
Thank you for that, moderator. So as the National Empowerment Fund, we value partnerships as well as collaborating with other ecosystem players. And that said, I would like to then say that what would really assist is ensuring that you partner with other players in the space in terms of co-locating where possible. This will ease the commuting burden on entrepreneurs in accessing other support services, which one funder may not be able to assist with. For example, we're in the same office block as the IDC, as well as the CIFA arm of CETFA. This enables us to be able to walk across with the applicants should they require from us what we are not able to assist with. Also aligning eligibility and funding criteria. This will save the applicants a lot of money as well as valuable time. Where possible as well, co-funding and structuring blended financing options. This will reduce individual funders' risk exposure, as well as unlock capital for women-owned businesses. Lastly, joint outreach and awareness campaigns to be able to increase reach, particularly in underserved communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, NEF. We move to Access Bank. Minister, we can confirm we've stolen them from the Regenesis function and said, let them come with us in this journey. Can we give over to you, Zaida, to say, from a private sector perspective, with this unveiling of this product, what sort of elements and support can we see from Access Bank?
Thank you. I think before I answer, thanks for the question, I think a lot of people must be wondering who is Access Bank. So Access Bank is an international commercial entrepreneurial bank. We have over 700 branches across in 3 continents, Europe, Asia, and Africa. We have 60 million customers. And with that in mind, when I say 3 continents, we dominate the African continent. We have presence in 22 markets. We're also in Europe as well as in Asia. We're well positioned to support entrepreneurship across the continents and really enable, especially in Africa, intra-Africa trade. So that's just an intro of who Access Bank is. We are 4 years in South Africa, and we're really committed to support entrepreneurship, especially SMEs, as well as commercial and corporate banking as well. With talking about tailored solutions, I think we're well positioned to support entrepreneurship through funding solutions. One is really women-led vehicle financing solutions, where we really look at concessionary lending, but also different mechanisms of lending through gender-based venture capital and blended finance programs. The other is, what's really critical is non-financial services. What does that mean? Outside of lending that we support and supply, it's also about capacity building, business advisory, networking, and access to market. As mentioned, I think we're well positioned based on our presence in Africa to really drive market access, networking, and specifically from a funding perspective, we talk about supply chain financing. We call it trade financing. So if your business is in South Africa and you are working with an entrepreneur in the DRC, which we have actually done, we actually opened up a bank account for the person in the DRC, and they were able to facilitate their trading transaction. And that is the position that Access Bank has, is to be able to facilitate transactions in that sphere. I think what's important for women-led businesses or SMEs, or actually entrepreneurship in its form, is that you always need knowledge to support how to run a sustainable business, outside of starting it, but the knowledge access to run it sustainably. And through our different offering around support and our knowledge hub that's available on our website, we really gear and inform entrepreneurs of how to run sustainable business, outside of just starting it, but making it sustainable over time. And I think that's what Access Bank differentiates themselves in the market, and what we can do to support entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Zaida. Let's move on to Sis Gloria. We know that you've got extensive experience in supporting inclusive development, but what we're interested in is what global or regional best practices can we adopt to open markets for women entrepreneurs, especially with the product that we've now established to ensure that they could access those markets.
Thank you for the question. So at UNDP, which is the United Nations Development Program, one of the advantages that we bring is the knowledge and experience that we've gained in pursuing development agenda across the world, given that we have presence in over 170 countries globally. So we believe we need three things. And the first and foremost, in my view, is digitalization and financial inclusion. And the reason we believe digital is the way to go is because just last week we were talking, I was with Ceci Nonzuzo at Soweto, speaking with women entrepreneurs, particularly those in townships and owning spaza shops. And they were sharing with us their experience and challenges that they're facing in meeting the requirements of registration and formalization of their businesses to be able to access finance. And it was very clear that if we brought digital technology and digital solution, many of their challenges could be resolved to allow them to access the funds that have been deployed, but they cannot reach them. So it is clear for me, to answer your question, that even for this new fund and for the other existing funds, I echo my sister's words, the program director, to say, why are people asking or commenting that we don't know what the government is doing? And I think it's because the government is doing a lot. However, there are challenges in accessing those opportunities and those instruments that have been put in place. So at UNDP in South Africa, for example, we started an initiative that we call DIME, which is Digital Innovation to Modernize the Informal Economy, with a focus in the township and the spaza shops. And the idea here is to use digital technology to deal with issues of registration, issues of compliance, issues of financial records, so that you can generate, using digital information, alternative metrics to allow you to access finance. So with Access Bank, with that large market of 60 million customers, the entrepreneurs, the women in the room and the women outside the room are not participating because perhaps they lack the required access, right? And this is an access bank. The name already says the issue is about providing access. Now, what metrics are we using to allow this access to actually reach the beneficiaries? So using digital technology, we could provide alternative metrics. We don't all have to have CPAs, all to have financial statements. We can use alternative credit scoring systems, using AI to get information of how the women are spending their money, how the women are paying back their loans, how they're settling their bills, how much they're buying, how that's credit worthiness. And we can use alternative metrics And that's what DIME is about. The second experience and that we have as UNDP is to talk about innovative finance and de-risking instruments. Because I agree that the finance that is being announced today and the funding opportunity, it's not a bottomless pit. There is a limit. However, if we combine forces and use de-risking instruments and blended financing opportunities, this money can be catalytic to reach one more and one more and one more, right? So we have experience of, for example, in Nigeria, where we launched the first gender bond, and it was oversubscribed 4 times, and it was only for women, which tells you that the women are there. The women are not afraid. It's just that we need to enable them to access this opportunity. And the third point I would want to share is enterprise hubs. So the startups, the innovators, the creators, the accelerators, all these hubs are there to provide opportunities to mentor women, to mentor entrepreneurs, and to give them the additional skill sets. Because capital alone is not enough. We need to also empower women and empower the ecosystem. And these are the other areas that if we don't address, then the capital will sit there not accessible. So what UNDP has been doing is to address the ecosystem part by providing skills, by using digital technology and alternative risk metrics to allow women to succeed.
Thank you very much, Ms. Glory. Kateko, as probably your next point, it's just to look at those funding gaps facing women entrepreneurs today, based on the experience that NEF has, probably from a sectoral perspective.
Thank you for that, moderator. We live in an information age, right? However, we still find that access to information remains a barrier when it comes to women entrepreneurs, wherein women are often not aware of the support mechanisms which are available, whether financial or non-financial, to support the growth of their businesses. This calls for ecosystem participants to increase awareness campaigns around the product offerings in order to bridge this gap. Secondly, women often start businesses for survival purposes and tend to operate informally. This results in challenges when having to demonstrate historic performance as well as viability when trying to access funding. I found that initiatives such as skills development, capacity building, mentorship and coaching go a long way in helping women entrepreneurs better manage their businesses as well as unlock value and growth. Linked to that is limited networking as well as platforms within which women can connect, collaborate, as well as share valuable insights. These are important because many funding opportunities are discovered through these engagements, especially for women in remote areas who are often not privileged to such information. We also find collateral requirements, which makes it particularly difficult for women in historically disadvantaged backgrounds to access funding. This limits their ability to be able to grow as well as sustain their businesses. Lastly, we also find gender biases in certain industries where women participation is concentrated in lower margin as well as in formal sectors, which funders deem to be less viable as well as less scalable. It's mentioned that women-owned businesses reach profitability at about 78% of women-owned businesses reach profitability compared to the male counterpart at 70%. This shows that women are capable. It also shows that women are more capable than their male counterparts. This also calls for women to participate in high growth industries as well as role players in those industries to create enabling environments for women to start as well as grow their businesses. This will reduce the access to market barrier as well as increase their ability to access finance. Thank you.
Thank you, Kateko. Well, we know that you're a banker, but beyond capital, what innovative financial products or blended finance models do you see as game changers, specifically for the sector that we're looking in, particularly in your high growth sectors?
Thanks. Kuliswa, I think Access Bank, we run a program called the W Initiative. It's a woman-led program. We don't only offer finance, but it's beyond that, bringing the ecosystem together to actually speak about networking, mentoring, coaching, and how to run your business. That's one. The other instruments that we look at outside of traditional financing is also how do we anchor revenue-based financing, where we actually look at how you're running your business. For women that may have limited collateral, how do you run your business? And let's look at the behavior of your business so we can determine how we can do financing. Others, we speak about trade financing, which is really purchase order financing. And what we really encourage is that you may not need the necessary working capital, but actually this finance instrument can help you do trade actually in other countries and give you access and market access and expand your business. And as I said earlier, I think we are Pan-African reach and we really have the access to help you demonstrate into Africa trade. The other is really, as an institution, we always look to partner with the public sector, other DFIs to support us around guarantee scheme funding as well, to sort of de-risk and do risk sharing so that we could also drive scale for funding instruments to support a larger span of SMEs. And these instruments support women specifically, in terms of scale, in terms of supporting different spheres and sectors of business. When we speak about sectors, there's a lot of different sectors where women actually come and bring different perspective to businesses, different ideas, not traditional, really different trades, women with a venture into the agriculture sector, retail trade sectors, construction in its form. And I think we think those should be male dominating, but actually women are coming in with different perspectives. So how do you support women who has limited collateral access, as an example? So these are different instruments that we would look and assess you to see how we can advance you for, as a female-led business. I think also different DFI schemes and guarantee schemes can be specifically tailored for women outside of concessionary lending, but really support that because we really drive in a purpose, a KPI, and closing a gap. I just want to quote a stat that the more women-led businesses we scale and support, we actually globally, women can contribute and close a funding gap between 5 and 6 trillion, as the World Bank says, and add to GDP globally. That's if we continue to support more women-led businesses. And last but not least, is always, I speak about non-financial services. It's actually an inclusive package that you take to market. Not only financing, but you also continuously supply support around coaching, mentoring of how to continuously run your business to be successful. Because what that does is it drives economic transformation. Once with female entrepreneurs, business is successful, she can take her learnings and scale it to the next and actually drive passing knowledge. We talk about knowledge, that's actually passing on knowledge outside of having actual programs to support women around sustainable business metrics and mechanisms of how to run your business. Because it's one thing to generate profit, but it's the other to make sure that your business is compliant. Your business is compliant from a human capital perspective, a regularity perspective, especially in the different sectors in which you operate. So how do you have that continuous support? Because emotionally it can be tough for some entrepreneurs. There's highs and lows, but that continuous support is what you need. And at Access Bank, we're not just wanting to be a financier, but we want to offer you more than that, actually a partner to journey with you through your entrepreneurship journey. And that's where our position is. And we'd really also like to commit to wanting to be the bank that makes a positive impact and also encourage trade across the African continent because we're well positioned to support it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Zaida? Well, Ms. Gloria, can you come back again? You spoke about the ecosystem. From you, our key area is then how do we strengthen this ecosystem and all these integrated methodologies based on your experience having worked on them?
Thanks. So the ecosystem needs connection, in my view. I think we need to connect the dots. And UNDP, as a development partner, you know, we are a UN entity, so we work with government to support government efforts. We don't duplicate what government is doing. We also don't replace what the government is doing. But we connect what the government is doing and bringing in other players like the private sector and academia, civil society, to have a whole of society approach. And I think from all the responses, what you hear that is coming across as a common thread is the role of partnership. And UN and the UNDP plays this role. It's our critical space and mandate where being a neutral broker and a neutral partner where we are not biased. Our focus is really about achieving the national development agenda and leaving no one behind as we pursue the agenda of sustainable development goals. So as a development partner and our experience of how to strengthen the ecosystem, I'll give 2 or 3 points only. One is that as conveners and UNDP, in our experience here, we have already, beyond the initiative of DIME, which I mentioned, we've also already started engaging with different stakeholders to put together a facility which can work as de-risking so that such capitals as the Women Fund that is being launched today can go beyond what it can now without that being in place. So the idea is to bring in additional partners to the table to make these funds become catalytic and create more impact. The second aspect is we are implementers and collaborators where we bring technical assistance. So in this part of not necessarily having the financing, but having the technical know-how so that we can help the entrepreneurs become investment ready and successful at it. So that's the part that we bring. And the third is that we also have a core funding space where our funding is small, but it is catalytic. And it is designed to identify those gaps that we can close by bringing in the knowledge that we have. So, Honorable Minister, the Premier and the Chairperson of the SEDFA, what I'm trying to say here is that we are partners in this because we are already working in the same space with interest to solve the same problem and with knowledge and experience where we can come together to connect the dots and help the fund that is being launched today, even though it's a soft launch. You mentioned in your speech that we want to understand better, and we can jointly understand better how to design it and how to co-finance it for stronger and bigger and better results. And that's the commitment that UNDP brings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a mouthful, and we'll hold you for that. You coming on board. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our panelists. Without wasting a lot of time, Minister, I think the key thing is the collaboration that we're seeing from barriers to solutions. And here are the partners, the DFIs, the bank, and as well as also your development program that we have. We are here to say that this fund will require all of us to work together as development partners to ensure that women and other designated groups, which is your youth and disability, within that space also benefit. So we thank you very much. It is of gratitude to us as SIDFA to be part of this process and ensuring that it is a success. Thank you so much. Over to you, MC.
Thank you very much. Let us appreciate them. Let us appreciate our moderator and the panelists. Thank you. Now we understand that the task of empowering women is not a task of one institution, but it is the work of government, private sectors, our government partners and stakeholders. It is indeed a collective effort. So we really appreciate the opportunities. Thank you. We are now going to call upon MEC of Economic, Small Business Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs in the Free State, MEC Mr. Ketso Makume. And finally, Konke kuningi, MEC, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. Greetings to the Minister, the Premier of Mpumalanga, the MEC, the Chair of the entity or the agency, CITFA. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from the Free State, a province that is bordering 6 provinces and 1 country. So the country is called Lesotho. It's one of those beautiful countries. So it makes Free State also to be beautiful. But I'm here tonight because I was sent also by a woman, the Premier, to just convey a message to the Minister that the next session of this nature will gladly appreciate if it could be held in the Free State. So we are here to come and learn from Mpumalanga because the sun rises in Mpumalanga. Thank you. So, Minister, there are a lot of things that are being said about women in societies and in nations and in the globe. One of the mantras that destroyed many women, it was the mantra that was known to all of you, that the woman's place is in the kitchen. And that destroyed many women. Destroyed families, business initiatives, everything, because every time you try to do something, you'll be reminded that your place is in the kitchen. So we need to change our mindset. So the fund must also help us to change our mindset, not only against the mantra, but also against practices that are promoting gender inequality and are promoting the disparities in the society between men and women. So why are we supporting this as the first thing? And why are we taking the risk to travel all the way to come and listen to this? Minister will know that she established a fund called the Transformation Fund together with the DTIC. They invited us to Soweto. I couldn't go, not because I did not want to, but there were reasons why we couldn't go. But this one, there were reasons, but I said I must go because, number one, by empowering women, we are empowering the nation. That's the most important thing. Number 2, when you've got women who are thriving in businesses, they've got an immediate impact to communities and their families because they are responsible human beings. The second thing, the women bring some element, that diversity and innovation on products and services that they provide. Number 3, they actually ensure the empowerment not only of women, but also of the nation. So that's why we are here, because we know that with women, this initiative is going to thrive. But then there's a saying in the world again. Behind every successful man, there's a strong woman. Have we ever imagined if we can change this mantra and say, behind every strong woman, there's a strong woman? All nations will be happy and will be successful. Minister, we are greatly appreciating this. Lastly, the Premier said, Minister and the Premier, we are inviting you to Makufe Festivals, which is going to be held on the 3rd to the 7th of September. Come enjoy Free State, because Free State is a place to go to, not a place to go through. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us give Honorable MEC a round of applause, a big round of applause. Thank you very much. ukhulume kahle ngathi u-MEC siyabonga bomama. No, we appreciate, and now that the kitchen is no longer a place for women, also for men. Bayasiphekela nabo baba manje. And we appreciate Honorable Premier. Thank you. Ngiyazi uNdunankulu akafuna ukintroduce kakhulu ke ngibona sakala seduze. Let us welcome our Honorable Premier of the province of Mpumalanga, Baba wethu Babundlovu. Thank you, Honorable Premier. You are welcome. Thank you.
I don't know if technology will not also. Thank you, Program Director, our Honorable MEC Mieketsi, Minister of Small Business Development, Honorable Stella Ndabeni, Minister. We are happy that you are here in the province, the place of the rising sun. I'm no longer speaking on behalf of Mpumalanga. I'm speaking on behalf of Mpumalanga province. Free State MEC for Finance. We are happy that also you are here in the province, our acting Emalahleni Executive Mayor, Faith Msivi. I know that last time you were very angry. You lost your wool when there was an intervention in this municipality. Don't blame us. The person who pushed us is here, Minister Ndabeni, a member of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, DG of the Department of Small Business Development, Ms. Tulisile Manzini, DG of our beautiful province, Megis Kosan, all HODs that are here, all officials of government, SIFA Board Chairperson, Ms. Nonzuzo Makanda, and all members of the board, esteemed women in business, ladies and gentlemen, malibongwe, igama lamakhosikazi, malibongwe. I'm happy that the ambassador of our beautiful province was given an opportunity to address us today. I did not know that we have got an ambassador like you here in the province. We must have to support you. I was consciously not aware that we have business people like you. Good evening, Honorable Minister of Development, of Small Business, Honorable Stella Ndabeni, esteemed guests, distinguished professionals, and the remarkable women of Mpumalanga and South Africa. Once again, you are welcomed in this beautiful province, the place of the rising sun. Honorable Minister, we are truly grateful and really appreciate you for choosing us for such an important program. I want to join our MMC for thanking you for prioritizing us here in Mpumalanga. I know that you are very busy, but for 2 days, you decided to apologize in all your activities in the country because you wanted to be with us here in Mpumalanga. Honorable Minister, as you are unveiling the Women Fund today in this historic month, we will continue to reflect and celebrate the women of our country. 9th of August 2025 was the 69th anniversary of the 1956 Women's March to the Union Building in opposition to the past laws What an honor to include entrepreneurship development as part of their celebration. I know that we have not been doing very well on entrepreneurship development. We are happy that we are now enhancing entrepreneurship development, and through it, we can create close to 6 million jobs in the country, and we'll have our own share as province of Mpumalanga. I know that always my share is somewhere around 7% and 8%. Our government has developed strategies to address unemployment, which include increased participation in public employment program, increased vocational and skill-based training, and leveraging on public procurement. These interventions are working, and they are aimed at tackling the persistent challenges of poverty, unemployment, and income inequality. We have concluded our budget for all our departments, and we have set ourselves a minimum targets for 2025-26 financial year on all our public goods procurement. 50% of service providers in the province will be businesses that are owned by women. No fronting. No fronting. 30% youth owned. Also on this 30%, 50% should be businesses that are owned by women. 7% will be owned by people with disabilities. Also on these 7%, 50% should be women. Women Trade Fair was hosted under the theme Empower Market. Women-owned businesses were given an opportunity to showcase their product and services, facilitate networking. I know that today also we want to have our own networking. I'm not going to take much of your time. I don't want to compete with our minister here. I decided to come here because I wanted to prove to you that I am not microphone shy. It is not my task today to address you. You are going to be addressed by our minister. Women-owned businesses were given an opportunity to showcase their product and services, facilitate networking, and market opportunity to empower them as women entrepreneurs, not tenderpreneurs, no donorpreneurs. Do you know donorpreneurs? Or you know tenderpreneurs, not donorpreneurs? What do you understand about donorpreneurs? Dagat? Baizan? They are dependent on donation. They donate for them to be given an opportunity to work. Those are donorpreneurs. The session was meant to provide women SMEs with access to information, funding, and access to market. The trade fair showcased innovation, enterprise, and opportunity across key sectors, reinforcing our shared commitment to inclusive economic growth. This province was represented by 12 women from the 3 district municipalities who participated in the event, which was hosted in Gauteng. They represented this province very, very well. They were also good ambassadors of this province, like yourself, my dear little girl. And I'm happy that you also appreciated the support that you received from the Premier's office. To address the mismatch of skills in the province, through the Mpumalanga Regional Training Trust, we have trained a total of 143 learners in hospitality, of which 73% of the learners are women. NTT further trained 552 learners in different technical skills program. Again, 75% still were women. The NTT supported a non-profit organization that served food from Monday to Friday to the needy people, run by a woman at Kanyamazana called Good Morning Kids Zone. Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport enrolled 350 participants as part of the National Youth Service Building Maintenance Program for a period of 18 months. The intake included a total of 186 women. Allocated budget amounted to 26 million. Department also enrolled a further 250 participants in May this year, which included also 149 women, which is equivalent to 59.6%. The allocated budget for the year amounts to 21 million. In Mpumalanga, 50-50. Gender parity, siyifuna ngenkani. There were those that they were singing, but unity, siyifuna ngenkani. Nathi na, here in Mpumalanga, 50-50, Dagada, acting HOD, 50-50, siyifuna ngenkani. Our DG, 50-50, siyifuna lapha eMpumalanga. There is also Sakabaki Contractor Development Program that the department is implementing to support women contractors from CIDB grade 1 to grade 6. Currently, 59 contractors are appointed. The department is obliged to allocate work to these emerging contractors. Most of the successful contractors that you know here in Mpumalanga, they started from this program. Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, or Agriculture and everything. Through the Mpumalanga Agro Fund, in partnership with National Empowerment Fund, support historical disadvantaged farmers to who? The farm. The minimum target is also to support 50% of women farmers to work the land, which is too expensive. We must have to support farmers to work the land. And for them to make profit, you must know that they must have to spend more. It's too expensive for a farmer to make a profit of 1 million. He has to spend close to 10 million. So women must be supported also to work the land. There are countries in Africa that are doing very well in agriculture, like Tanzania. Will pay special attention. We want to visit all those countries to learn from the best. From my office, the Premier's office, I'm no longer going to drum the achievement of my department, because there is a person here that benefited from this program. We're engaging on this program that supported you. Whether we can continue to support, in the past we used to support contractors. Others, they wanted to buy graders, then we supported them. But we think that the time has arrived for us to support people that are in manufacturing, like yourself. So we're engaging, and we hope that we'll be able to find a solution very soon. But we want to support people like yourself that are assisting us to create jobs, not for you only and your children, also for the people of this province. You are supporting ourselves to implement our apex priority of inclusive economic growth and job creation as one of our apex priority. In the past, we funded youth entrepreneur, but we now plan to support business owned by youth that focuses on manufacturing. As I have already indicated, as usual, the minimum target on all our programs is 50% of women-owned businesses. Honorable Minister, I want to thank you and your department that you always remember Mpumalanga. Siyahlomula thina, yeah, in Mpumalanga. I know that some few days ago, you donated equipment to informal traders, emerging companies and big companies in Bushbuckridge local municipality, some few days ago. And yesterday, you were here at Emalahleni local municipality. Beneficiaries of all these programs requested me to convey a message of gratitude. They gave me an assurance that they will pray for you to remain in this department. Your stay in the department guarantees their continuous benefit from your entrepreneurship development program. I like those that they were interviewed. They wanted to know if they are happy that you came to Emalahleni today, and they did not benefit anything. They responded, and I was very happy. They said that they appreciate your program because they see others benefiting, and they think that also one day they are going to benefit. I want to thank all of you who shifted your schedule to be part of this launch, especially businesswomen who love your children. It is President Uhuru Kenyatta who said, if you really love your children, get a business, not a job. Because when you die, your children cannot inherit your job, but they can definitely inherit your business. Our first democratically elected president, President Nelson Mandela, said, as long as women are bound by poverty and as long as they are looked down upon, human rights will be substance. This is what he said. As long as women are bound by poverty and as long as they are looked down upon, human rights will lack substance. This is what he said. Let us all work together for equal opportunities and progress for all women. As I conclude, I want to leave you with the words of Mayor Charlotte Mateka when she said, this work is not for yourself. Kill that spirit of self. Do not live above your people, but live with them. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. This is what Charlotte Masheka said. it is my duty and privilege to invite our minister, that is a well-known figure, our minister, Stella Ndawen, that participated in all structures of the ANC. She served in a branch of the ANC, in a region of the ANC, PEC, ANC Youth League. Currently, she's serving in the highest structure of the ANC in the country, dealing specifically with intervention in municipalities. Our minister, yes, our minister, I want to invite you to address her.
So fella couldn't be. Yeah, that's called. Linga shone me. Yeah, said we are born. So fella couldn't be. Yeah, that's called. Linga shone me. Yeah, said we are born. So fella couldn't be.
Thank you so much, Director of the program. Angeke basikhona. Bangalinga. Nangomso futhi. Sawufela la. Sayenza le mali. All right. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge Director of the program, who is the MEC responsible for agriculture and all the other important things under her portfolio. Of course, I've got to pay a special greeting to the first citizen of this province, the Premier, who just introduced myself, the chairperson of the ANC, a governing party in this province. Allow me to also recognize the presence of my dear brother, MEC Makume from Free State, who is responsible for finance already, you know him. And of course, to my little sister, the acting mayor of the day, I nearly said complete, MMC Faith, and greet, of course, the chairperson of our entity, the Small Enterprise Development and Finance Agency. I want you to practice that. Small Enterprise Development and Finance Agency. We are not SIFDA. We are SEEDFA. It's the development, as in the entrepreneurship development and everything, and then finance agency. That's who we are. Of course, greet boss yam before ngiphelelwe litoho. Hey, ngangasayini impimi. Ngamalanga announce. And then somebody decides not to sign. The DG of our portfolio, Mrs. Tulisile Manzini, and of course the DG of the Tulisile Manzini wala impumalanga phela. Tulisile Manzini wam, Tulisile Manzini ka Premier, and everyone else that is here, right? I am my DG of the province, of course. Great, the CEO of SIDFA, the DDGs, executives, the Women Association that are here. I bang bulsma pebes. I know zembela palo. Libishangan lang. Ow! Nawumuntu nashangan like. Ow my pebes. Vera bakbona bantu mfundini. All right, that's my person and my friend. All right, I would like to take this opportunity to greet specifically the women entrepreneurs of our country. Amount to Premier who never give up. It doesn't matter if it is rainy. It doesn't matter if the husband or boyfriend did not sleep at home. They are depressed, the children are on drugs, or are just deciding to be whoever that they want to be that we don't approve of. But these are the people who hold it tight to say no matter what happens, I'm not gonna give up. I've got to do it for my family. I've got to do it for my country as they do it globally. This is why during the budget vote, we then said it's important that we don't only announce the establishment of the Women Entrepreneurship Fund, but also make sure that this fund will be designed specifically for women in everything that comes with it. I have not recognized our partners. My apologies, UNDP, NEF, and the Access Bank, and others that are here. So we then said, there's lots of funds, as you have had other people speaking there, from the National Empowerment Fund, from ourselves, SIDFA, the provincial DFIs, everyone is offering a fund. But we're still quoting statistics that say women cannot access funding. And as a department responsible for the policy and legislative framework to promote development of small enterprises in our country, we then said that there's a need for us to develop a policy, the funding policy for MSMEs and cooperatives. Because we have looked at all the instruments that are there, but we then saw that there's still gaps that prohibit women from participating meaningfully in their own economy. And in that funding policy, we mentioned critical things that will change the state of women in business and how financing institutions operate once we finalize everything. The first thing was to look at developing a movable collateral registry. Because every time you go to financing organizations, whether they're banking or non-banking, there's always these red tapes. There's always these things that says, it's not for you, but they're not writing it down. They would disregard everything that you have. You may be a farmer with 100 cattle, but they won't use that as a collateral. You may be a business person with lots of stock that is there, responsible, insured, and all of that, but they won't consider that as stock. When you like, I just got this opportunity, I need 100,000, I need 500,000 to patch. I have the stock that I've paid for its investment, but they won't use that. And then we said, there is everything wrong with that. Because any responsible organization ought to understand what is happening or the dynamics of a constituency one is responsible for. Now, if you want to finance small enterprises, but you're setting the bar for other people, why do you exist in the space of Small Entrepreneurs Acting HOD? This is why we said, we're gonna be dealing with that. DDG Delwa and others are responsible for that, working with National Treasury and the World Bank, at the Movable Asset Registry, that I hope they are about to finalize it. The second aspect was the development or the creation or establishment of the Fund of Funds. The IMF in 2021, okay, scholars know I'm not supposed to quote 5 years older, right? My apologies, I'm going there because there's no recent research, an opportunity to those that are still conducting their research. The IMF estimated that South Africa has a credit gap of 350 billion rands. You know what that means? For entrepreneurs in our own country, Premier, to be able to play or occupy their rightful place and play an effective role in the economy, we ought to have, on top of the little that we ought to have 350 billion rands more. Our own national development plan says South Africa must create 11 million new jobs by 2030. It further dictates or commits that 90%, 85 to 90% of those must come from small enterprises. I'm going to minister of my small business, shame. I was not there when they drafted it. Nama was a participant like you. They said 85 to 90%, which talks to you about 8.5 to 9 million jobs must come from smaller enterprises. Now, as we continue with the investment, we ought to take stock and look back. What is it that we have done right? What's that we've not done right? Or that we did wrong? That today we're talking of high unemployment in our country. Whereas we had a 30-year vision that clearly articulated what needed to be done. And yet we are complaining today. Of course, the economy is not doing well, but there are specific things that we were supposed to do that we could not do sufficiently. So as we look at the creation of the Fund of Funds, we were clear on it to say we are going to take 1% from the enterprise supplier development contributions, Premier, utilizing the law because tina senza umthetho. Now, in the legislative prescript that we had adopted in this country, the triple BEE aspect, it says 3% must go to enterprise supplier development. Simply because that is meant for transformation, because when you onboard new suppliers, putting your own money, it means you're not only onboarding them, but you are babysitting them in order to unbundle the value chain. That's why we inserted that clause there. Ngiyabona ke abantu bathenga isoka kids bapeyinta izikole hey benza yonke into. But the crux of why we inserted that clause was to address the imbalances, adhering to our own constitutional preamble, if you read it. If you have not read it, go and read it. So that you know that when we take decisions that say we've got to establish certain funds, it's not because we hate others. It's because we've got to deal with the imbalances of the past, because we are not advocating for any other gender to be above the other, but we're advocating for equality. Because we ought to build a healthy, cohesive nation. And as the Premier said, if women therefore are left behind, there's no inclusivity in that. And there's no social cohesion in that. But we can put all these legislations as government if the women themselves, especially women entrepreneurs, are not taking charge. By contributing to policy development, we will develop policies that are informed only by academic knowledge or by what we got to hear, and then we're like, let's respond because people are taking us on this. But if women entrepreneurs are taking charge, every policy, every regulation will then help them achieve their own agenda. Ngiyathanda njengomntana waseMthatha. Abona ke premier thina abantu be-homelands. So Umthatha was the capital city of Transkei. Puma kulo Nelson Mandela, I tell people. And the reason I tell this because we had radio station. It was called Radio Transkei. There's my boss over there again, my former boss. And they had a specific song. They used to sing music in the radio station, you know, when the regulator allocates 40% songs, 60% and all the other content that goes to radio station if you pay attention to that. And then they had this one that I grew up loving, but I love it more now that I really make the law. It says, okay, you're not going to touch me. I'm not going to be like, Mandlovu. Bubu khona benzothi zongculela. Ithi South Africa lilizwe lomthetho. Lilizwe lomthetho. Abasoze balive amabunu ayalibanga sebesithi lelabo. Abasoze balive. I never understood what's the meaning of that until I got involved in politics and got to see the power of the law. As I was growing up, I told you I come from the same village. You see the hype, everybody is talking about Nelson Mandela. You don't understand. Guys, keep up. But because you are curious, you follow up. Until you begin to see families being separated. But now that I'm making the law and I got involved in politics, until you see how a law can prohibit people from participating in their own economy. And you begin to appreciate the role that has been played by those that came before us in fighting for the freedoms that we're enjoying today, that we are taking for granted. That we are taking for granted. And they've played their part. They delivered the political freedom so that you can make a choice. Now, when you are given that opportunity to make a choice, Abantu, they don't want to contribute to making their choices, to design the law to work for you. People are not doing that. Ukuthengisa lokho. Because other people died, fought for this freedom, they got their families separated, and. For me and you to be able to have fair trade, choose the trade of our choice, participate meaningfully in our own economy. Now, women entrepreneurs in majority don't participate in the legislative frameworks that are there. I'm going to ask you here, how many of you participate in the LED forums in your municipalities? Not because they're LED managers. As business people, only 2, 3, 4. In all the South, everyone that is here. And people who are in business, they ought to know that business is governed by politics. You may hate politics, but unfortunately, they love you. As you are in the politics of business, Tinala, we're in the business of politics. Also politics so great. As much as we are not going to be able to do business so great, because you understand your space better. And therefore, when you then work with us in developing the legislation that must assist you to achieve what you want to achieve, you are making things easier and making the law work for you so that inkululeko yabantu is meaningful. But if you don't participate, when the councillor calls a meeting, IDP or any other consultation, are you sana le nto zaba council? Okay. Ngapha kuthi sithi ngoceba, I don't know lani ithi into nama council. You feel like you are too important to attend that meeting. Even when Minister Parkstow says we are establishing the transformation fund to bridge the gap, Therefore, come and make an input on how we design the fund. You don't participate even when we call webinars. We're trying to reach out to everyone. We're going digitally, but people are not participating. Yet, they have the cell phones that they gossip about the counselor or the tenderpreneur or whoever around themselves or a colleague. We've got to use technology to advance our interests. If we are not building a knowledge society, we're not going to get anywhere. It's important that you get to know. That's why they will tell you, as you know, that in business, networks are very critical. But how are you going to forge networks if you don't even understand what regulations are in your own space that you're trading in? Until it hits you, you come back angry. Yes, but I can't get money. They're declining my application because in the credit bureau. Because you don't even know, you didn't even participate when they were developing the policy and providing reasons, or you beginning to say, this is not talking to us. So you've got to remove that clause. You, small business development, you have a say name development. You're not like any other financier. Your responsibility is to hold us by hands, make sure that you babysit us until we grow and become big business, because it is your mandate at the Department of Small Business Development, which CITFA is an implementing agency of. That's why we've said the first thing to do is to coordinate the entire ecosystem. Now, if you're going to coordinate the entire ecosystem, you've got to have a clear policy framework. But every time you complain about red tape, you must know it's policy. That's what red tape is. So we're going to continue with engagements, dialogues, and policy frameworks until we deal with all those red tapes. That's why I'm urging all of you to participate. So we have a group, policies that we're bringing. Yesterday in the cabinet committee, everybody was like, hi, Minister, you are on the roll. Because I was like, now we are presenting the business licensing bill. People have been complaining that their own economy premier is not protected, that we are allowing for participation of undocumented foreigners in their own economy, which puts their businesses and lives at risk. And in the Constitution, Section 22, we're clear about what must happen. You go and read it. Now, when we try to put these in place, because every government has a responsibility to help people, we get it for us. And the people, the right to trade. The Constitution refers to citizens of South Africa. It's very clear. It's very clear. You read it with understanding. Drive through or McDonald's. It's not like that. Read everything. That's why I said you go and read the preamble of the Constitution, and it's going to tell you the commitment that we're making before we articulate the different clauses in the Constitution and the rights that are enshrined to the people of South Africa that come with responsibilities. Even when we talk about the right to trade, that trade may be regulated. The Constitution says so. When we try to regulate, there are those that try to undermine even the Constitution of our country. And some are supported by you, colleagues. You front. You don't only front for men and women. You also front for people that know. Whilst we are creating a conducive environment using the law to say, there's the BBB Act, therefore if you want to be a partner, become a legal partner, we're giving you that space. But no, people who want to earn 10,000 rands, they rent out space, they go to the municipality, but they don't know. They don't know premium. Skins up. We are betraying the freedoms. Those women of 1956 did not march because it was fashionable to do so. You are now handed over a baton to ensure that you deliver economic freedom to the next generations. Theirs was the political freedom. If you betray the next generations, you must know what's going to happen. Angazi ngendive kuthiwa abadala bayathetha. So this evening is about us giving effect to ensuring that women are also included, and we deal with the imbalances of the past by giving women their rightful place of ensuring that they participate in their own economy. We're creating access to financing. That's why the chair said here, we will be announcing. We are going to go to provinces for consultations, Premier. This fund has to be designed by women entrepreneurs in the rural areas, in the townships, and wherever they exist. We said we're not going to be sitting in the obvious provinces. We ought to reach out to the rural provinces too, because they are citizens of our country. So, as the chair said, this is a soft launch. We are hopefully by the 15th, after the 15th of September, we'll be ready to start the consultation processes. Ngoba singahlala siyidesign sithi yoli, and then most women don't access it. We don't want that. We are learning as the time goes on, because we have other funds that are not accessible. So this one has to be different. That's what we agreed to. MC, I know you're thinking favoration Mpumalanga, ne? I ain't going to Free State. So, my dear brother, because as I said, we are going out to the provinces. The next province that we're going to is Limpopo for the heritage celebrations, and I told the team that we'll be celebrating the creative industry as part of heritage. Because these are the sectors that we take for granted, but they make huge impact, including contribution to social cohesion. And yet most of them, they die as paupers with all the talent that they have, or they get to be exploited by those that have more budgets. So in the interventions that we said we are making, then there's going to be financing that goes to the creative sector, and we ought to celebrate the craft that they are busy with. That's Limpopo. Then in October, when we're transitioning to summer, living winter, spring, and all of that, we're going to go to your beautiful province, MC. We will be launching the Youth Entrepreneurship Fund. Isiqalo sezinto ezintsha. I get a season, and then it's promising that's just a blom in the summer season. So we'll be going there. Even there, with the youth fund, it's not just going to be any other fund. I had invited the Ministry of Women, Youth, People with Disabilities, because I said, you are the policy department of women. I need you to be there working with us. Unfortunately, she could not join us. But we did agree that when we're finalizing the concept document, we'll do it together. Because this fund is not a fund for the Department of Small Business Development. Women belong to all. We are just seed funding so that we can crowd pull even other people to come and provide the money. But there's a policy department that must champion that as we respond to the national strategic framework as approved by the President. So same applies to the Youth Entrepreneurship Fund. We will bring the department and the NYDA in looking specifically, why are we not filtering things amongst young entrepreneurs? What is it that we're not doing right with all these funding instruments? And we'll tease out those and then be able to design the fund to be responsive to people. The Premier mentioned that, Premier, I hope ngizofumana title deed mfo. Ngaze ngafumana neplot sengihleli kanje. Hayi, angiyifumani. One of the interventions that we provide for informal traders, I did tell you that we are a Department of Small Business Development, right? Which means we start you at ideation phase. Shama nawe uye kwi prototypes ukuthathe uthi product yakho poo and market. That's us. That's the role we have. So, one of the segments that we're responsible for is the informal economy. If you look at the design of the township economy, it is dominated by informal economy. That is why I started by saying we are a department that's responsible for policy. Therefore, we ought to, every time we see a challenge in the gap, we ought to design the law. Let's look, where are the loopholes? Now, the current Businesses Act of 1996 gives the authority to license businesses to municipalities. And we do know the challenges that are faced by municipalities. The National Health Act gives the authority on environmental health practitioners over municipalities. Functions get to be transferred to local government, even though there's no financial support to match that. Now we are sitting and observing a government 31 years now, this is the 31st year, we're being in power. What is it that we did right and what is it that we did not do right? Where did we miss it? That's why we are reviewing the Businesses Act. As I said, we were presenting the Business Licensing Act to Cabinet. In that Business Licensing Act, we want to simplify first the application process. We want to streamline and standardize the permit fees. Hey, buy charge also my business ngomasipala. Our people are not compliant because they don't want to at times. They're not compliant because the cost towards compliance, hey, ayiyabiza idange eninzi. Azi ukuthi ngamadegrama ngapi. Just to comply. Your sin is just you took a decision that I'm going to get in business. And then people want yellow, want green, want whatever. They're not even talking to each other. So to streamline that, bring everybody on board, including find a role, a concurrent role with the provinces to say you're also going to streamline as you deal with the licensing of businesses and assisting the municipalities. So we are giving the department the authority. Many people have said, hey, beauty contest. So, but uyovalani na maspaza shop, kukwela ma foreigner la. And I'm like, I so wish I could have that authority. But unfortunately, I do not have. The only person who registers, who comes into this country, who's here or not here, is Home Affairs. But nobody goes to Home Affairs. Again, we understand because people had that there's a Department for Small Business Development. Therefore, the assumption is that the department will be given all the authority to deal with all those. But we then said we're going to be working, because we are one government. We're going to be working with the Department of Employment and Labor. We're going to be working with the Department of Health, the Department of Home Affairs, in order to make sure that when inspections are conducted, we do them jointly, so that we're able to identify the culprits. So the business licensing bill that I said we were tabling seeks to deal with some of those challenges, including being able to reserve certain segments of our economy for locals and South African citizens. That we can't apologize for. Botswana has done it, Tanzania is doing it, Lesotho is doing it. Everyone is doing it. It's only South Africa because people say your constitution says everybody has a right to trade. Ifunde kahle. Ngoba ngiyazi niyasazi isingisi. Ifundisise now with understanding and trade with others, so that you are able to understand what is that was intended by those that designed the constitution. The second one is the township and rural economic revitalization policy. I said township economy is dominated by informal traders. Most of the time, it's salons zethu, abo mechanic, betu mapush mechanic, and. But if you see, still we're not owning that. We've became estate agents, siyarendisa imizi yethu, siyatengisa. And that's something also that we must consider. How do we incentivize those? So that we know that when you're in the property space now, residential area, you've opted to be. And then how does the municipality then design instruments to make sure that there's profit, but there's proper direction and protection of those houses? So, to deal with that, as I said, the township and rural economic revitalization policy is going to be going to cabinet in the next cycle, which is beginning October. we are hoping that you are going to make your inputs. We spent much time doing consultations, but most of the time, when we do consultations, it's only business associations. But we do want, because we know that there's businesses that are not organized. We do want to hear your voice, informal traders of our country. Because there's lots of informal traders. Abantu, they only think which is hawkers. The third one is the entrepreneurship strategy. If the National Development Plan says 85 to 90% of jobs, Premier, is going to come from smaller enterprises, you ought to have something that puts into place to say this is the direction we're going to take as the country. Because you are recognizing the importance of entrepreneurship. And siyayazi awulala uvuka entrepreneur. You may be a good designer yempahla, you may be a good baba, whatever you are, but that does not mean you're an entrepreneur. They are born entrepreneurs who see it, work on it, and go, but they don't know how to follow the frameworks because the frameworks are designed by other people. That's why we said there's a need for a country entrepreneurship strategy. We are in the process of finalizing that. We're putting everything into perspective. Let there be a direction in the country so that whether you are private sector, whether you are big business or you are government, this is where we're seeing from, like smart countries do. The other aspect that we are bringing is that of consolidating our partnerships. Hey, siya partners. Nke ngothiwe ngithi papa ku Twitter hayi logo yethu habo bani laba, but I find our logo everywhere. We're very generous, we're not brand conscious. We don't understand the currency of the brand, again because we are a portfolio that belongs to everyone. But now we said we've got to make sure that we use our currency to benefit our constituents, because most of the people that are using our logo are people who benefit through our constituency. Did you hear me? People who benefit through, who see the challenge of the small businesses and say, we're going to come and provide you this. They make more profit by helping bridging the gap. Yes, that's why we coexist with big business, right? But it shouldn't be at the expense of small enterprises. If I'm talking township economy, I want ownership, data, and everything. Because it is government and the people that must protect their platforms. It is the currency. Data is the currency. And I know many don't like that when I say it. I'm a minister who studied and went to a level of ensuring that I study relevant things in the digital space. Yeah, and that I did because I really want to make sure that when we're making interventions, it's not interventions that 5 years, 10 years down the line, we are really regretting why we make those. We are living in the digital space. Therefore, we ought to understand the instruments that drive the digital economy and how to go about it. Just like we're not going to be a dumping site for old technologies. We know that everything is stale. It is artificial intelligence that drives the economy. And as South Africans, we have not yet identified our own niche in the artificial intelligence space. We can't regulate it. Abantu, they complain everything. Hi, AI, yeah, it's designing clothes. Have you seen it? It's PAing. We don't need PAs. They forget. They get older like us now, but they forget. Hi, that machine does not forget. Graphic designers and everyone, have you seen? You know that now, if you go, how many of you know Lovable? Okay. Lovable is an AI agent that is used a lot by people who are not programmers, but who do work that would need coding and programming. So like you have a function, you want your website, even if you don't have a function, you're gonna say we're gonna be doing it, changing the face of government in terms of the brand on their website. It designs a website as long as you give it the information in 18 minutes. Yeah, if I had something, I was gonna demonstrate for you now so that you see. 18 minutes, look and feel, information, you get it there. Because you tell it who you are or what you want to know. And you just describe it. That's the risk that we're faced with. That's why I said this fund is not going to just be any other fund that goes at times to where markets are saturated. We're going to go for the new opportunities. We've got to empower people on the new economic opportunities, including the new markets that are being opened as others are closing the doors. Because we want to hire, amadoda have been dominating in this space. Alone. We will identify our own niche and fund where it is necessary, but we'll also make sure that that development, entrepreneurship development, is also driven because we're enhancing it pre-investment support and post-investment support. So, sizoba babysitter on a business bed. How do you trade in the era of artificial intelligence? How to stay in business? Because it is really replacing people. It's the reality. Yabona besimane sithetha nge-digital economy in broad things. That's why we were talking telecommunications and all the old things that we're talking about. The real thing now is here. And if you were to go and Google whether ChatGPT or Lovable or any others, you just ask them, how many countries will be, or how many households will be buying AI agents in the next 5 years? It's scary. It's scary if you get to look. Because as a person, you must be futuristic, know what's going to happen so that you plan knowing very well, not to only look at the past. That's why in the NGO that I subscribe to, we say we are proud of our past, but confident of the future. But you can't be confident of the future that you don't understand. That's why those that came before us were able to defeat the apartheid system. They understood it. They made their business. They went to school to study law because it was law that was used. But now, how many of us understand what drives the economy, except for the traditional ways of doing business? Because we ought to live with that reality, that the machines are here. And if we are not trying to coexist with them by understanding them, make sure that you are instructive to them, they're going to replace us. And that's why both the Youth Entrepreneurship Fund and the Women Entrepreneurship Fund will be looking at those so that we're able to scale up on certain businesses and occupy spaces that even men at times have not occupied. We're not in competition, we're in the business of complementing each other. I hope Usiavan. As compete, we are here to complement each other. Our economy will grow when we do that. But at the center of that is the importance of the collective entrepreneurship. You don't want to work with each other. Ingathi niya lawyer. You want to be the only one. They call for a tender, kwamasipala tender briefing, a tender nje 10 million, 120 companies, one road to be built. Because people are not thinking beyond tenderpreneurship. Yes, it's an opportunity for us to participate when it exists, but we shouldn't be relying on government. Government contributes only 30% to the GDP. You know that, right? Nonke la nifundile good business, so you need better economics now. Only 30%, 70% is in the private hands. How do we diversify? How do we make sure that ukubanga the other one bakes amagwinya, nangzo producer oil panga la avocado kanye ngeza olives or whatever? How do we make sure that abanye, as I come from Eastern Cape, I did say, tizoba nomgidi womntanam suna, kuthiwa Eastern Cape if you're going to have umgidi, kuthiwa ulizibazana. I look at this all the time. My people get to celebrate, they eat lots of meat, they drink lots of alcohol. And the first thing I ask, okay, where does this alcohol come from? Where does this meat come from? How have we benefited? Because it doesn't matter how poor you are. I know in the Eastern Cape, stock fell because funeke mgidi ube nenyama notywala. Hayi ke kubekho ichomzam sesavan. Uba isavana ayikho baba, we're not landing. I don't mind. I want you to hear me. All I'm saying, are we looking at the economy of all these things that we love so much? So that's why I look after designers, beauty specialists, we make up and apologize. Ngoba, I go and buy, I support small businesses. So when they compete about making dresses for me, I pay. I feed families, and I look beautiful. Just like if what you like is music, you buy lots of it, niyeke lento yokopa ama fake killing talents of the people. But there are those who would go out of their way and buy fake products. You are destroying our economy and you are destroying our businesses. Kunabantu odibana nabo benxiba umaxhosa njengazi ba howabi ke lo maxhosa. Abanye udibana nabo bephethe iwallet ka Louis Vuitton design that you have never seen. Akakayikhuphi no Louis Vuitton kodwa seyikhona. But ngifuna uthetha ngalabo balapha ekhaya. Udibana nabo bafaki imibhaco, bafaki isiswati. Sithengiswa kuphi nibonile intoni small street. And then uyayithenga. Bangena lapha emalahleni ba rent ivenkile. Hey angizulibizela igama niyalithanda sithomzana. And people go and buy that, killing talent and the economy. Because when you buy counterfeit, you are destroying the economy. Whilst I understand that you want to say they are cheaper, but at whose expense? Cheaper at whose expense? Because they're not cheaper because impahla zabo ziguga kwangoko. You must ask abantu who have original mbhaco or swati or whatever attire that they have. Iyahlala, iyalast for years. But that one is cheaper, and then after a year or after, you've got to go and change it. Let's stay away from that mentality if we are to transform our economy and if we are to take center stage. I'm talking to women because it is us that can make things change. No other one can do it. That's why they said behind every successful man is a woman, because these are our men. We give birth to them. We marry them, we date them. We know them better. Ngobuthixo usiphile, bazi inhloko zethu, that's why we've got to compliment them. Even when we take at times their money to spend, let's spend it on things that will make us better tomorrow, so that we can be able to fight against the social ills that our people are faced with. We've got interventions like the business infrastructure intervention, wherein we built, what's the factory that we supported here? Did you? Hey, Ule. Teta Mbat. They all left the factory that we supported kwenye ndawo la eMpumalanga. Layer process avocado. Where is it, Konje? It's a White River. We do support a lot. Because the reason we also want to invest a lot in production-related sectors is because people must create jobs. But abantu babahluka noba ngoma thenga thengisa. It's good to start because you're trying something, you just want to add some markup and make profit, but invest in real business so that you avoid being a donor-preneur, right, Premier? You make real business. You make people want to come to you because they need what you are producing. So we have the business infrastructure support that we provide. I know the department is about to advertise. We have the Asset Assist program. How many of you know about that? Asset Assist? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. That's a good number, even if it's about 15%. Asset Assist program is where we provide equipment that goes up to 250,000 rands worth to businesses that are making less than 3 million rands. If your annual turnover is less than 3 million rands, then you apply and then they do all the English. These are people that are learned. So they will come and say, we need this and that and that and that and that. So you work with them. But when they say you don't have, if it is something that they're supposed to help you with, you tell them that they must help you. I said we are the only ones that have the responsibility to develop businesses. So when they say we are declining your application, they must tell you why. Because you've got to go and fix that made you not to get the funding. They can't be like the commercial banks and other person. That's why we said this year we're focusing on this term, we're focusing on enhancing even the post-investment and the pre-investment, so that sikungenise teach you how to do business in what you are doing and also how to stay in business, because it's important, the power of staying, so that you can create many jobs. Then we have TREP. How many of you know about TREP? The Township and Rural is the same culprits. The Township and Rural Enterprise Program, it goes up to 1 million rands with a grant cap of 100,000 rands. Then we have the Small Manufacturing Fund that goes up to 15 million rands with a grant of up to 20%. Do you know what's 20% of 3 million rands? Of 15 million rands? Business that. All right, 20% of 15 million. So with 3 million, balance. So you must know the numbers. So that's 3 million rands that government says we're investing in your business because you've taken an initiative, especially to produce, to manufacture so that you can create jobs, but put South Africa in a space wherein people can recognize that we can produce certain things. And when we support those people, we then don't want you to go to people who fake those products. So when you go and buy counterfeit, you must know you are destroying government's investment. We put money as government because we want a return on the investment. A return that must be plowed back by making sure that we build your roads, we provide you healthcare, and all the other social services, including financing small businesses. So, right. We also provide support to people with disabilities. It goes up to 15 million rands again. Yeah. We also provide support to spaza shops, 40,000 rands worth of stock, up to 100,000 rands inclusive of equipment and refurbishments. Ma uyahamba uyobhalisa ispaza kumasipala, afike athi umasipala you are not compliant. Uthi ndincedise ndi-aplaye phayana e-Department of Small Business Development ngoba bayifakile imali yoba bandincedise ndibe compliant. We said this time, we are going to be deliberate by helping our people to be compliant. We are doing that because we want businesses to grow, but we want to know who's trading also. Because imbi into yoba kuthengisa abantu, the next thing, xa kuthiwa kuyagulwa, nobody can account for anyone. Imbi loo nto. Niyayazi, abanye niyazamkela abantu balala up in the same room, Premier. They bath here, they eat here, they make babies here, and they sell here. And we go and buy. Bayazamba. Abantu. Bayazama ukuphila. That's why we're saying, let's provide infrastructure support. Just like we are going to do, Premier, in that program of yours as Mpumalanga that you are doing. Or should I wait for the pronouncement at the right time? I cannot tell them because they must know now here. And now my fitlomin. And la program ye Mpumalanga International Food Market. Yes? Yes. Kangeleli ichomze tonight and it. I agree they spend 1.8 billion. Managers funeral small business galuk. An opportunity to supply the market. That's why I've written to the chair of our agency to say in the funds that we have given to them on product markets, we have signed an agreement with the province of Mpumalanga that will support them with 78 million rands. Because everywhere there's an opportunity, small businesses must participate. So, Premier, you've got to commit MC that you are going to make sure that that market gets food from small-scale farmers and other people that are processing. We don't only provide raw, we also want processing. And we are here as government working with NEF. We're going to be working with Lottery and everyone to do that. We not only do it in this province, we do it even in other provinces. I'm citing this one because the partnership that we have signed with the province of Mpumalanga, and SIFA is looking at implementing that. The nice thing I say about being an executive authority, I always tell my team and they get so irritated. I only have 3 critical things that I'm empowered to do by law as the executive authority. The Public Service Act clearly articulates budget vote is our responsibility as executive authority, providing strategic direction, yam, and competing nomunye umuntu. Lastly, putting a structure that must respond to the strategic. Yam, I compete, no man go appoint one ban. The law empowers me as the executive authority. So when we say we are designing instruments, when we say we want to take this policy direction, wongo munyu muntu implementayo. Follow, ma'am. You just advise us how best because you are an expert in the space. But the policy directive, including the policies that you set for yourselves on lending, they've got to talk to the policy priorities. Can't be that you have policies the lending that talk to yourselves. You implement on behalf of the policy maker or the shareholder. So Leo, I talk this. I'm telling you all the time. Get yours. You want PFMA kunika onka mandla to spend, but I tell where it goes to. If I don't do that, I'll be failing the people of South Africa, whom every time those that still do, they go and vote because they're looking at the manifesto and everything that we're talking about. And then when I come now, I've outsourced their responsibility. I can't do anything because, hey, Sidfa, hey, this one, Aibu. These people, they don't even know. I tell my team all the time, when they say, no, Minister, I'm like, do you think Parliament, they will call you? Or do you think on Twitter, they know that there's a chief director like you? Or they say, Stella Ndaben is failing. We're not getting money on time. Yeah, they take 6 months. Like now, they've already said now, as I told them, we are launching here. They're like, oh, we're going to take 3 months, 3 years to finance those businesses. We know you. Why do you do this? You fund your chommies. That's what they say. Nobody knows. It is me. That's why I said, as part of coordinating the ecosystem, it has to start in-house. Therefore, when we announce funds that are going to be done, the design in the department, we have a unit responsible for funding, coordination, and support. How do we get our things in order? It has to start with us. So that when we go and partner, we have a branch. What is it called? Sector, policy, and all the English. That is there. As they research and everything. So we said, we're not just going to partner. What does research say? But we're not only taking research, because I told you, if you have done research, you know, you have your specific questions looking at what you want to solve or want to know. So Nati, we're not only going to take other sponsored researchers, we're going to go deeper to say, what did they intend to achieve with this research? If it doesn't talk to us, we've partnered with all the universities that deals of commerce, because we want to get information every day, research. If it means we must subsidize master's students and PhD students to research on particular things, we're going to get research like this, and that's what we are going to do. That branch is going to focus on that, so that when we say we're partnering, we are looking at the value add of the stakeholders that we are partnering with. What are we bringing to the table? What are they bringing to the table? Does it talk to what we want to achieve in terms of the country priorities of building an inclusive economy? So we are getting structures. We are 11 years old this year. Ngiyathanda usicompare nabantu abana 65 years. And we 11, we are not there yet. We're still on the phase wherein we believe that we can turn things around, but we depend on you. You know your space better. We need you to work with us, to advise us on instruments that we bring, on policies, challenge even those that are not working for you. Make the law work for you. So, we're not going to allow anyone to treat women of our country as second-class citizens. It's not going to happen. So, fela la empin, sizoyithatha ngomthetho, ne? Sizo participate emthethweni so challenge that LED policy kamasipala. They must be able to say in their special planning, this land is reserved for small enterprises of our municipality. They should be able to say in the procurement policy of the municipality, if bayayazi ukuthi this municipality produces lots of crops and all of that, they should be able to say, if uzofika nento yokudla, 60% will come from local suppliers. You make the policy work for you. You dictate the terms no matter who's coming to invest. Investors They check the environment. But if you are not clear of what you want to achieve, they will come and tell you, this is what we want to do. They tell you, we want to come to your country, we want to do this. We want to come to your province, we want to do this. They should invest on what you are lacking in your own terms. If you are not using that opportunity, we're going to keep on coming back and saying small businesses and women-owned businesses are excluded in the economy. Take your rightful place. Hi, man. Sanuba weak, yes? Please. You know, in your own veins, Nina, run the blood that ran through Winnie Madikizela Mandela's veins. What else can you see? What can defeat you? You've seen what that woman went through, right? Ms. Bonin, if you have not, go and Google. You'll get the story of Nomzamo Mandela. What she went through. But in all of that, she stood firm. Today we are free because they gave up everything. And they were resilient to say, "Ayizuphinda yenzeke kwenye next generation." So ourselves, as the women of today, should be able to say, we're not going to fight the battles that Nomzamo Mandela won. Skull pants. We're building from their foundation and we're taking it higher to the next level to deliver the economic freedom as women of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, now I get paid to talk. Today, we have launched the Women Entrepreneurship Fund, and thank you for taking an action. May you live longer and be the caliber of women that owns group companies. Ngiyafuna igroup sithi mangifika eParis ngifike kukhonina kuthwezeza lapha eSouth Africa. All the best, and as government we love you so much.
Let us all stand and put hands together for our Honorable Minister. Thank you. Let me first appreciate our Honorable Premier for the beautiful message and his continuous support when it comes to matters of women. Thank you, Honorable Premier. Nimvile mosuthethe nge-50% across all departments. Let us clap for our Honorable Premier. Thank you. Honorable Minister, thank you. Thank you for your powerful keynote and for your unwavering leadership in placing women at the heart of South Africa's economic growth agenda. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. So now I want us to say, you will say this after me. Mangiti hashtag nzoti sisonke makhosikazi. Hashtag nibuye nithi rikaufela basadi. Hashtag thank you. Now that we will be officially closing these proceedings, I want to invite our DG, Memanzini, to come and guide us on the way forward, to give us closing remarks, and also to do the vote of thanks. Can we clap hands for her? Malibongwe. Noah. Ngena Noah. Ngesizulwane zabonku Noah. Wabakheli nganawe. Wathi mvuli yeza. Ngena Noah. Wababiza bonku Noah. Wabakheli nganawe. Wathi mvuli yeza.
Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Wathinta abafazi. Yeah, I'm now starting to feel that it's August. It's August. Okay. Speeches have been made, a lot of things have happened. Mine is just to thank. Minister introduced me. I'm Tulisile Manzini from a place called Matsulu. Is there anyone from Matsulu here? Mwase Matsulu. And I'm actually so excited today with some programs. Africa in Mpumalanga. Shailan in Mpumalanga Tanga. Our gracious program director, Honorable MEC of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs in Mpumalanga, Ms. Kethiwe Moketsi, Honorable Minister of Small Business Development, Minister Stella Ndabeni, Honorable Premier of Mpumalanga Province, Mr. Mandla, Honorable MEC of Economic, Small Business Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs in the Free State, Mr. Ketso Makume, Acting Executive Mayor, Ms. Nonzuzo Makanda, Chairperson of SETFA Board members, and CEO and the executives, DG of Mpumalanga, my colleague, very supportive, DG of Labor, my colleague, supportive, Acting HOD, Dr. Takada, and all other HODs present, senior government officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, what a fitting moment it is to close Women's Month with the launch of the Women's Fund, a bold, progressive instrument that the minister announced during the 2025 budget vote. We announce, things get announced and they get done. We don't just announce. You go and read our budget vote, you come and read, and I can tell you each and every one of those, because as I sit at EXCO, I track that this is what minister has said. So already I think in terms of my... So we bring that commitment to life. This fund that we are here about today is more than just financial support. It's a strategic lever to unlock the potential of women entrepreneurs across South Africa. Women who for too long have faced barriers to capital, market, and opportunities. By creating this dedicated financial pathway, the Women's Fund ensures that women-owned businesses are no longer on the margins, but are positioned at the center of our economic recovery and growth. Allow me to pause and acknowledge the visionary leadership of our minister, Stella Tembisa Ndabeni. Her determination to place women at the heart of entrepreneurship has set a new standard for inclusive development in South Africa. And as a Department of Small Business Development, we are proud to carry forward her vision with purpose and agency. And she's not just talking women empowerment. If you look at that department, Minister, woman, DM, woman, DG, DGs, women, digital, tons. Like you go to SETFA, the chairperson of the board, like it's all of us. And as women, it means things are happening. Ladies and gentlemen, the strategic importance of this fund cannot be overstated. Evidence globally and locally is clear. When women are empowered economically, families thrive, communities are uplifted, and nations prosper. This fund will support not only individual enterprises, but also drive job creation, innovation, and local economic development, precisely what our country needs as we confront the challenges of slow growth and high unemployment. Already through this initiative, such initiatives, we have what you call a she trade. Our department has been connecting women-owned businesses to global markets. What Minister was talking about is already happening. With the Women's Fund, we now add another powerful layer, ensuring that financial resources are available to translate ambition into impact, ideas to enterprises, and enterprises into sustainable wealth creation.
To the women gathered here tonight, you are the vision bearers, the builders of tomorrow. You are not only shaping your own future, but you are redefining the trajectory of our economy. The Women's Fund exists because of your resilience, your courage, and your determination to rise above all odds. We all extend deep appreciation to SETFA under the leadership of the board led by the chairperson and also the CEO steering the agency with the executives for making this possible, and they deserve a round of applause. Your commitment to advancing small businesses, particularly those led by women and young people, makes you a true partner in driving inclusive growth. The success of DSBD is intrinsically linked to the success of SETFA. As we live here tonight, let us remember, this fund is not the end. It is the beginning. It is a call for action for all of us to continue supporting women, opening doors and ensuring that no dream is deferred because of lack of opportunity. Opportunities are here. It's brought to you, Mpumalanga, your doorstep. So yours is to do what is right to access. Finally, I would like to thank each and every one of you who took their time to grace this occasion. And this we do not take for granted. Together we are building a South Africa where women rise, lead, and thrive. And they say success is not success unless it benefits other people. So if you look around, just look at who you are lifting. It can't be about you all the time. That the only. No. Have other people that you go with. I always hear people that I'm the only what. So it is important that you start lifting other people. I can count when I look back, other people have brought them. I'm standing here because somebody believed in me. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you, DG. Thank you for giving us a way forward, and thank you very much. Now that we have officially concluded with our formal proceedings, I'm going to invite yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, for our refreshments and also networking. So angithi hambani asinetworking sixoxeni sitholaneni share nama contacts sizohlanganani kuma trenches angithi ashare nama contacts. Honorable Minister, I'm told that we are going to allow this table ingene kulomnyango for ibuffet. Then after we follow the tables lawa la ngaphambili, then yes, sizongena ngalesidle. And let me also appreciate you for giving me the opportunity and allowing me to program direct today. Thank you very much. Siyabonga. Let us network and have a dinner. Our program is officially closed. Thank you very much. DJ. Thank you. DJ ungasinceda nje usithi kancane sisadla sa network. O mangabe DJ akakhoni kahle usis wakandlovu angasiphinda. Thank you.